Deep beneath the earth, silence is not peace, it's pressure. The walls breathe, the darkness listens, and every breath echoes your heartbeat. For centuries, humans have crawled into the planet's veins, chasing wonder where light cannot reach. Some go seeking beauty, others records discovery, or simply the thrill of the unknown. But the underground doesn't forgive curiosity. One mistake, one wrong tunnel, and the cave becomes your coffin. The stories you're about to hear aren't myths or urban legends, they're true. Each one began with adventure and ended with silence. In these stories, the enemy is not a monster. It's time, gravity, and the limits of flesh. The air runs out. The walls close in. The mind starts to drift. These are the moments when explorers realize the Earth doesn't let go. From Utah's sandstone tunnels to China's flooded labyrinths and Mexico's underwater cathedrals, each descent follows the same promise: I'll be careful. But in caves, careful means nothing when the rock decides otherwise. You'll meet those who went deeper than anyone before them and never returned. Not because they were reckless, but because they believed they could outsmart nature. And in the end, they learned the final rule of the underworld. You don't conquer the dark. You become part of it. This is Caves of No Return. In the Utah desert, hidden beneath layers of rock and silence, lies a cave known as Nutty Putty. Its smooth clay walls earned it a reputation as a beginner-friendly site, perfect for amateur explorers. But that reputation would change forever in November 2009. John Jones, a 26-year-old experienced caver, entered the cave with his brother Josh and a group of friends. It was supposed to be a simple family adventure, one last thrill before Thanksgiving. The main chambers were wide and safe, filled with echoes of laughter and flashlight beams. But John and Josh were restless. They wanted more than safety. They searched for the notorious passage called the Birth Canal, a tight tunnel famous among thrill seekers. Crawling on their stomachs, their lights flickered against walls that squeezed tighter with every inch. John believed he was heading toward an open chamber somewhere he could finally turn around. But he wasn't in the birth canal at all. He had taken a wrong turn into an uncharted crevice. The rock narrowed it to a just 10 inches high, forcing him to slide headfirst at a downward angle. When gravity took over, his body shifted vertical upside down, trapped in a natural coffin. He called for Josh, his voice echoing through the clay-choked tunnel. Josh tried to pull him out, gripping John's leg with his own, but every movement made it worse. They both realized the truth: John was stuck deeper than anyone had ever been before. Rescue teams arrived within hours, hauling ropes, pulleys, and air tanks through the twisting cave. The operation was slow, suffocating, and each inch of progress cost another hour. John spoke to his wife through a radio line, whispering that he would be home soon. But gravity, compression, and time had already made a silent pact against him. When the pulley snapped, the cave fell silent once more. After 27 hours of agony, rescuers could no longer reach him. Nutty Putty Cave was sealed forever. John Jones's body entombed inside a monument to curiosity's price. In the depths of China's Guangxi province lies Judan Cave, one of the most dangerous underwater systems on Earth. Its deep, winding chambers descend hundreds of feet into total darkness, where even the smallest mistake can mean death. In April 2014, two expert divers, Wang Yuan and Wang Tao, arrived to push human limits deeper than anyone had gone before. They had explored this cave many times before, mapping its northern entrance and preparing for their record attempt. Their goal was to extend the known depth of Judan Cave from 5.25 to 5.8 feet, only 30 extra feet, but enough to make history. They knew that those few extra feet required perfect precision, correct gas mixtures, decompression stops, and flawless navigation. Visibility that day was poor, less than 7 feet due to heavy rainfall in the days before. Still, the two men descended following a thin white guideline into the green-black water, their lights fading behind them. Every few minutes, they changed tanks, each containing different gases for the pressure at that depth. Wang Yuan led the way, with Tao marking the line to guide their return. At around 5.38 feet, Yuan began to feel something wrong. A dizzy, fading awareness, the early signs of oxygen toxicity. He signaled to Tao that they needed to ascend, but when they turned back, the line was gone. For several terrifying moments, they swam in circles through the dark, searching for the lost guideline. Their breathing quickened, consuming far more air than planned, and panic began to rise. When they finally found the line again, Yuan's deep cylinder tank was nearly empty. He switched to his surface tank, a move that carried its own danger at that depth. At 393 feet, Yuan began trembling uncontrollably, while Tao, just behind him, collided with a rock and got trapped. He wasn't moving, only shining his flashlight at his neck to signal he was running out of air. Yuan forced a spare mouthpiece into Tao's regulator, freeing him, and they began their desperate ascent. But Tao was exhausted, fading fast, and his air was almost gone. Moments later, Yuan looked up to see Tao floating upward, lifeless, drifting into the dark. Yuen surfaced alone after nearly 4 hours underwater alive, but barely as rescuers later recovered Tao's body at 176 feet. It was December 2004 when 9 divers prepared to enter the Columbus Cove in Mexico. This was their second dive during the trip, hoping for a smooth exploration. The group split into 2 teams each with a specific plan. Team 1 would go ahead and place markers to highlight the exit path. Team 2 would follow behind, relying on the markers to stay oriented. Their system of markers involved cookies, small tags, signaling direction. The agreement was simple. Team 2 would remove their cookies on the way out. When Team 1 saw missing cookies, they would also pull theirs, leaving the cave clean. Everything seemed to be working as planned in the silent underwater corridors. But when Team 1 resurfaced, Team 2 was nowhere to be found. Alarms spread quickly as they realized something was wrong. After searching in vain for 30 minutes, Team 1 decided to re-enter the cave. Meanwhile, Team 2 had made a critical mistake underwater. Instead of taking the exit route, they accidentally turned left. That wrong turn took them 400 feet deeper into the wrong direction. They only realized the mistake when they were nearly 3,000 feet away from safety. The nearest alternative exit was just 300 feet away, but with no guidelines. Attempting to cross such a gap risked complete disorientation. Diver Kent tried with a safety line, but came up short. He had no choice but to turn back toward the original path. Oxygen levels were already running dangerously low for the group. Bill's tank was nearly empty, forcing him to share air with Gene. In narrow passages, Bill held his breath, while Gene squeezed through first. Michael, the least experienced diver, began to panic as his tank dropped to almost nothing. Kent reached him just in time with an emergency mouthpiece. Gene and Bill managed to resurface with only 500 psi left in Gene's tank. They immediately warned rescuers that Michael and Kent were still behind. Searchers re-entered the tunnel, hoping to save them in time. Just 250 feet inside, they spotted 2 lights suspended in the water. Tragically, Michael and Kent were motionless, having run out of oxygen. They had drowned only minutes from the exit, so close yet unreachable. The Simba Cave claimed 2 lives, leaving a chilling reminder of how thin the line between order and chaos can be underwater. In the silence of stone and water, curiosity becomes both a compass and a curse. Each of these caves, Utah, Guangxi, and Mexico, opened like a whisper promising discovery. But their beauty hid something older than fear, the indifference of nature. No matter how skilled the explorers entered on borrowed time, inside the Earth, time does not move forward. It loops, compresses, and waits. For John Jones, that loop ended in a tunnel narrower than his breath. For Wang Tao, it was a heartbeat between air and depth that defined eternity. For Kent and Michael, it was a few missing feet between light and dark. These stories remind us that courage and recklessness can share the same shape. Beneath layers of limestone and silence, even experts can forget what the cave truly is: a patient predator. Yet we keep returning, seeking the unknown, chasing the feeling that we are more than mortal. Every descent carries the illusion of control until gravity reminds us who owns the ground. We carve our names into stone, but the earth always takes them back. The cave keeps its secrets sealed in water echo and eternal dark. Curiosity made us explorers, but sometimes it buries its believers.